Now out to Philadelphia. That is where the police, the mayor, and other top officials will be discussing the latest updates regarding a shooting that injured 8 teenagers. Let's listen on Live Now.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sergeant Eric Grip. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Philadelphia Police Department. Today, we're going to provide an update on the senseless and tragic shooting that happened last Wednesday, March 6th, on the 7300 block of Rising Sun Avenue, which resulted in the shooting of 8 innocent juvenile victims. Today, we're going to be hearing from our mayor, Sherelle Parker. She's going to be followed by our police commissioner, Kevin Bethel. We will then be hearing from leadership from our federal law enforcement partners, from the FBI, the ATF, and the U.S. Marshal Service. We will also be hearing from our district attorney, Larry Krasner, and members from his team. I respectfully ask that you hold all questions until the end of the press conference, and I'm also going to ask for your understanding that we're going to be limited in the details that we can provide, as this is still a very active and ongoing investigation, and there's, as you can see, there's going to be a lot of moving parts. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our mayor to get us started. Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Philadelphia, as your mayor and a mother, it's extremely important that I come before you on this afternoon to state for the record that I hear you. I've heard you tell me that you are afraid and concerned about riding SEPTA. You have told me that you have concerns about going to work, to school, to the store, to get medicine. I need you to know that I hear you. To the people of our city, we want you to know that we are unapologetic about engaging every partner available to assist us in these efforts during these very tough times. We just left a meeting a few minutes ago with the principal of Northeast High School. And he said to me that although our city and those children's lives were shattered last week, we will not be broken, and we won't. That's why I want to acknowledge here today the hard work and thank, quite frankly, for the record and publicly before you, our police commissioner, Kevin Bethel, FBI Special Agent in Charge, Jacobs, ATF Agent in Charge, Degree, U.S. Marshals Agent Gardner, our district attorney, a value partner, Larry Krasner, Assistant DAs, Pescatore and Fritz, Superintendent Watlington, and I'm happy that Leslie Richards is here from SEPTA. I want you to know that the collaboration that you will see displayed here today is the standard operating procedure that we will employ here in the city of Philadelphia to address a crime like this, all crimes, and that, again, every partner who is needed to assist our Philadelphia Police Department and work in partnership with them to get answers and to ensure that folks are held accountable for their actions, they will work together to get it done. And I want to say thank you to each of you.
So thank you, Mayor Parker, and good afternoon, everyone. Last Wednesday, we were shaken by the senseless shootings at the bus stop at Rising Sun and Cotman. And if you recall at that scene, we promised that we were going to use every resource at our disposal to bring those responsible to justice as we stood out there in that rain. This is a heinous crime and requires a full court press. And I can't begin to thank you. You know, part of what the mayor has set forth for us is to build these partnerships with our federal partners and our internal partners. And to my right and to my left, you'll see my federal partners come up, the ATF, the FBI, the Marshals, our SEPTA police counterparts, and of course the District Attorney's Office. They have been working tirelessly throughout this period. I am proud I am extremely proud of the men and women, particularly my investigators, my shooting investigative group, and all those who have been involved, those officers out there. This job doesn't come in without their hard, diligent work. You know, the amazing work everyone has done and continue to do is absolutely commendable. They have not stopped since that incident happened last Wednesday, and will continue to stop as we move forward. I also want to express my sincere gratitude to the media and the public. You know, part of that work was getting this information out. But I also want to share with you that you're being responsible, and I know it was challenging at times. We had a significant investigation going on, and we did push back to ask you to hold. And I want to give an opportunity to say thank you for working with us, because through your efforts of getting information out, but at the same time, working with us was able to help us bring this job in and continue that process. So I want to thank you for your collaboration today. I'm happy to announce that over the weekend, significant progress was made. 2 individuals have been taken into custody and charged by the district attorney's office for their roles in the crimes. This was accomplished, as I said, through incredible work. Deputy Commissioner Venor and our partners will provide some of the details, some additional details. But I will also remind you, we remain limited in the levels of detail that we can divulge. I just want to also say it's important to all of us that we provide this update, but especially to our young people who were impacted, to know that we're making progress, that our young people and our families and those who are listening in the audience, that we will not tolerate this type of violence on our streets or in our schools or near our schools. Gun violence doesn't have to leave the physical scars, doesn't just leave physical scars. It tears at the fabric of our community. It impacts our schools, it impacts our families, and leaves a ripple effect of fear and trauma. And the mayor and I was at Northeast today and talking to a mother of one of our children was shot. And if you see that fear in her eyes, it was difficult to see. And so we understand that importance. I also want to highlight some of the things that happened on Wednesday. You know, we oftentimes talk about the collaborative work that goes into this process. I also want to take a moment to recognize Officer Kristen Rodriguez-Hetch. Come over here, man. You know, I also learned during our investigation that this officer's quick thinking application of a tourniquet may very well have saved the lives of many of the young people who were shot that day. He represents the 2nd District. Not only did he apply 2 tourniquets, his partner also applied a tourniquet. And when he went to the hospital, the doctor would say that tourniquet would ultimately help to save that child's life. And so I want to have that opportunity also to commend the men and women in the 2nd District who responded, as well as those dispatchers who managed that scene on that day, having 8 children shot, triaging that the officer did, making sure that he get to the hospital, all the work that the investigators did, and all of my collective partners, they just want to make sure you understand that it is a collective effort to get this done. So I want to thank you, Officer Rodriguez-Hetch, for your work that you did that day and what you represent on that day. Job well done. So let's not forget the amazing work done by our unsung heroes, as I talked about. Now it's time to provide more details on the timeline of the investigation. I'd like to turn it over to Deputy Commissioner Frank Venor, who will give you an update on where we are at this time.
Thank you. So based on the shooting that occurred on Wednesday, 3 o'clock at 7300 Rising Sun, all our partners that you see here and some that you don't helped us develop evidence from that scene, and evidence that led us to, and I told you this already last week, to 2 stolen vehicles that we recovered, one of which, the blue Hyundai Sonata, that we know was used by the perpetrators in this incident. Based on the recovery of that and other items that we were able to recover, we developed suspects. And one of the suspects we developed on Friday. We were able to serve a search warrant at several locations, recovering more evidence. But that individual, by the name of Jamal Tucker, an 18-year-old male, later that day turned himself in here to the shooting investigation group. After conferring with the district attorney, that individual was charged in this case, and I'll leave the charges and what occurred after that to the district attorney's office. They didn't stop there. It led us to a lot of other information that we were able to find and develop, and an additional suspect was developed. Early Saturday morning, with the help of the U.S. Marshals, we served another arrest warrant and search warrant on a location, and we came in contact with a Nellie Buggs, another 18-year-old male who was taken into custody by the marshals. That individual was at a location which we had a search warrant for. At that location, we recovered a .40 caliber Glock 22 pistol with an extended magazine. It was fully loaded. All right. It also had laser sights on it, and it had what we call a Glock switch, which made that firearm fully automatic. It was a machine gun. Based on the recovery of that, sometime on Sunday, our firearms identification unit was brought in. They took a look at that gun, and they were preliminarily able to tell us that that gun matched multiple casings at the scene of 7300 Rising Sun. So based on that, this individual was also charged by the district attorney, and I'll have the district attorney explain those charges to you. Something that I just want to let you know is you all seen the video we released. So there are 4 individuals in that car. We believe 2 of them are in custody right now. We're not done. All right, we have other people that we need to contact. We know who they are, and we're going to continually move with our investigation towards not only those individuals, but this group. Anyone who may have aided and assisted them, we're coming for them too. So if you know who you are, if you're involved in this or know something about this, I'm still urging you to give us a call. And with that, I'm going to turn things over to FBI SAC Wayne Jacobs for his comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner. As the Commissioner mentioned, my name is Wayne Jacobs. I'm the Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Philadelphia office. Let me first start by saying, as members of this community, we were shocked and saddened by the senseless gun violence we saw here in Philadelphia last week. While all shootings are devastating, shootings involving kids are uniquely difficult for us all to accept. And so we share in the grief and frustration of the city and are committed to doing whatever it takes to helping those impacted heal. As highlighted by the Commissioner and the Deputy Commissioner, the work over the last week is yet another fine example of what the FBI and its partners do day in and day out. Work tirelessly to ensure the communities we live and work in are safe for us all to enjoy. While it's important for us to pause briefly and acknowledge the hard work of the women and men of the Philadelphia Police Department, the Marshal Service, the ATF, and the FBI to make progress possible in this investigation, we want the people of Philadelphia to know that we recognize there's more work to be done, and that's exactly what we're focused on. Through the FBI Safe Streets Task Forces, we remain steadfast in our pursuit of those who demonstrate such little regard for life. And so to those who choose to traffic in violence, you should know that it won't be tolerated. You will be held to account for your actions. Let today serve as your notice. And with that, I'll turn it over to Special Agent in Charge, Eric DeGree from the ATF.
Good afternoon. We share our partners' resolves to get this case to a conclusion, to ensure justice for the victims, and to make our communities safer. The ATF Field Division has a long history of partnership with the Philadelphia Police Department. We have several Philadelphia police detectives embedded with our criminal enforcement groups here in the city of Philadelphia. We've combined forces in many initiatives to combat violent crime in the city. ATF is helping support this investigation by providing investigators and utilizing our crime gun intelligence tools to help get this heinous crime solved. One of those tools is our NIBIN system, which is our National Integrated Ballistic Information Network, which is a nationwide collection of digital images of fired cartridge casings taken from crime scenes that help us link shootings together. We also use our E-Trace system to help find the sources of these crime guns and bring those individuals that are trafficking them to resolutions. Sharing our tools and resources with our law enforcement partners, we aim to help keep our community safe from violent criminals. We're committed to helping PPD and all the partners you see here combat violent crime throughout the city. Now I'll introduce U.S. Marshal Barney.
Good afternoon, Eric Artner, United States Marshal, Eastern District of Pennsylvania. The U.S. Marshal Service Violent Crimes Fugitive Task Force is the search and apprehension component of this partnership. The arrest of 2 persons so far should underscore a narrative that speaks to resolute hope. The hope part of this message is the vision and efforts of Mayor Sherrell Parker to bring economic opportunities to the citizens of Philadelphia. That hope is unfortunately lessened due to the realization that there are no opportunities for a community to thrive when the very communities that aspire to success are negatively impacted by violence and by those who make bad choices that serve only to diminish our communities. As such, the resolute part of this message is our unwavering commitment to Commissioner Kevin Bethel and the Philadelphia Police Department in our relentless pursuit of all who purposefully and violently do harm to our communities. We've consistently demonstrated without fail that there are no safe spaces for those who attack our communities, and as we've proven repeatedly, our reach is global. We will capture the remaining persons involved in the shooting, whether on our terms or as safely facilitated by the shooter's family members and acquaintances. I'd like to introduce Mr. Lawrence Krasnick.
All right. With me today are ADA Joanne Pescatore, who is the chief of our homicide non-fatal shooting unit, and also Bill Fritzy, who is the head of the gun violence task force. They have been working around the clock, Joanne Pescatore in particular, which is pretty much what she does, and they have been working around the clock with this entire collaborative who are just as dead set on solving this crime, apprehending the people who committed it, and making sure that they receive the appropriate and very serious consequences that they deserve. But I want to say this too. I want you to understand that not everybody who has assisted can be here today. There came a moment when our end of this team needed some help from the sheriff. Didn't matter that the call went out at 10 o'clock at night. The call was answered. What needed to be done by the next morning was taken care of. And that is the experience that we have had in dealing with every single partner who is up here. I was delighted to be able to speak directly to Commissioner Bethel multiple times this weekend. I was delighted to be able to speak multiple times to Madam Mayor Parker and to be heard. When they needed something, we heard it. When we needed something, they heard it. And we were able to do what was necessary collaboratively together to make sure that this investigation moved forward effectively and swiftly. It is unacceptable to take any more time than we need because people's lives are at stake and so is their safety. Let me just say this as well, if I may. We're not going to stop. This is not simply about catching 4 people who jumped out of a car and whoever might have been along with them in spirit when they were gunning down all kinds of people waiting at a bus stop. You heard the word group. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but we are not done until any group involved in this kind of conduct is done, until they do not exist anymore. And that is exactly where this investigation needs to go. It's not about a single incident. It's about every other incident that has any connection to it and making sure that people who will do this kind of thing are not in a position to do it anymore. Therefore, if you are in any way a witness to what occurred here or anything connected to it, please reach out to the Philadelphia Police Department immediately. Please reach out to the DA's office if you wish, but I would reach out to Philadelphia Police first. If you are involved, then get smart. Turn yourself in. That is exactly what happened with one person who was involved, and it's the smart thing for you to do. It can only help your situation in an incredibly severe, terrible criminal act, and do it now, because that is what is going to work. I will now be happy to repeat for all you the charges, although I think you could probably predict them. There are at this time 2 defendants. Their names, as you I'm sure know, are Anil Buggs and also, excuse me, Jamal Tucker. I'm sorry, Jamal Tucker. Their charges are essentially the same. Each of them has 8 different cases, and they have 8 different cases because there are 8 different victims. In the case of one of those victims, the charges are criminal attempt murder, aggravated assault, conspiracy, 2 different firearms charges, possession of an instrument of crime, simple assault, reckless endangerment of another person. All of the other cases include most of those charges, However, they do not every single case does not include a new firearms charge. Every single case does not include an attempt murder charge. That's what we are looking at. These defendants are potentially facing an enormous amount of time in custody. When you have 8 different cases where you have engaged in atrocious violence, that is to be expected. But I will commit to you that not only am I grateful for this collaboration, not only am I grateful that when we were able to articulate things that we thought were necessary to advance the investigation, or when the commissioner was asking, or the mayor was asking for things that would advance the investigation, and what is also needed, communication with the public, I am delighted to report, I think we all heard each other well. We were able to talk together and come to collaborative decisions that have been very effective for the residents of Philadelphia. And for that, I will be very grateful.